Our Earth has an atmosphere made up of gases including greenhouse gases. Energy from the sun comes to Earth mostly as visible light, but with some ultraviolet and infrared light. With some of this energy reflects off the atmosphere and back into space, the rest comes through the atmosphere and hits the Earth. Because the Earth is warm, it now radiates infrared heat, but some of it is captured by greenhouse gases in the atmosphere and stays in the atmosphere or radiates back to Earth. The energy or heat that is captured is called the greenhouse gases or the greenhouse effect. It is a very good thing because it is what keeps our planet at temperature we can live in. But we've been adding more and more greenhouse gases to the atmosphere, so the Earth has becoming more warmer as the day passes. The warming of the Earth and atmosphere is called the global warming. The impact of global warming, however, is not that it will be a bit warmer everywhere every day. It is changing our weather patterns and weather system. It is creating climate change.
So, what does climate change mean for us and for our planet?
Great question. Some of the impacts of changes in our climate include shrinking glaciers. With overall warmer weather, glaciers are melting more than they are growing each year, so are shrinking. We can also expect more forest fires, drought, storms, extinction of species, and many more. So now, all of us have general ideas on climate change, right? Did you know that many countries were affected by this phenomenon? And did you realize that Germany is one of them? No? Let us tell you more about it.
For the past few years, the German public has increasingly put climate action at the top of its policy priorities and remains firmly in support of the transitions to a low carbon and nuclear-free economy. Germany is now among the top 5 countries most concerned about climate change issues.
Wait, why? Top 5? But why did Germany react to this matter?
We all need to understand Germany's sense of the need to take the initial steps to curb this issue due to several factors which became Germany's concerns. Many sectors were overblown, such as agriculture, water resources and marine protection, industry and commerce, as well as the human health. The German response on this issue is that heat wave, heavy rain or water shortage directly impact agricultural production. Because of this high dependence on weather and climate, it is vital for agriculture to know the consequences of climate change and prepare for them promptly. But not only agricultural sectors need to prepare beforehand, as well as other sectors. This has led to the most crucial parts where the governments were involved in resolving the conflicts.
Is it because Germany's government will sell their assets to other countries to boost their economy back?
Absolutely wrong, but it is a nice try. It is because Germany has taken vast steps in curbing climate change by formulating foreign policy. Interesting, right? Let my friends elaborate on this.
Paris Climate Agreement is one of the medium that forms the crucial political and legal framework for German climate policy both internally and externally. Thus, foreign policy, action development, cooperation and global trade relations cannot violate the Paris climate goals or stand in the way of its implementation. On the other hand, the effort also must be played along to make Paris goal more binding when related with the international community that able to take further action on punishment and sanction violation. As a result, to be more focused on Germany's bilateral and multilateral relations, the Paris Climate Agreement has been implemented, especially for the government's future. Climate diplomacy strategy becomes the key element, especially when involved the major emitters. Paris Agreement also is known as the first universal legally binding global climate change agreement that adopted the Paris Climate Conference. How is the Paris Climate Agreement interconnected with Germany's policy? Does this agreement help with the climate issues involving Germany? Germany with other countries signed the Paris Climate Agreement on 22 April 2016 and agreed on the agreement's main goal, which is to achieve global carbon neutrality in the second half of the century to keep global warming at bay. Their global framework is to avoid dangerous climate change by limiting global warming. On top of that, 55 countries representing only 55% of global emission for them to be entered into force and being ratified. The key elements in the Paris Climate Agreement are mitigation, which are reducing emission, transparency and global stock take, adaptation that deal with impact, minimizing and addressing loss and damage, the role of cities, regions and local authorities is always supporting climate action. The main reason Germany ratified this agreement is because that they believe that the international treaty will come into effect before the next climate conference in November. German Environment Minister also believed that this ratification is a sign of hope and a signal to Germany's international partner, which actually includes their interests economically.
The German federal government came out with a plan to protect the countries from effect of climate change by 2050. This plan was approved on November 14, 2016. Using the Paris Climate Change Agreement as a starting point, Germany's long-term climate protection and energy policy is called the Climate Action Plan 2050. This plan has set a goal of being carbon-free by the middle of the century. Its key principles are regular reviews, continual learning and improvement. Germany's Climate Action Plan 2050 sets the country's climate target for all sectors including energy, built environment, transportation, industry and businesses, agriculture and forestry in line with the Paris Agreement. The plan also sets 2030 emission reduction target for several sectors and provides guidelines on how to meet them. According to the Paris Agreement, the plan will be reviewed every 5 years, updated if necessary. The goal is to monitor the effectiveness of the measures and adjust them as per needed. The plan major goals is carbon neutrality by 2050. The planned initial target is to cut Germany's total emission by 55% by 2030. The government decided on sectoral targets for the proportional reduction of greenhouse gases up to by at least 95% by 2050. To meet the goal, all parts of economy must generate sufficient contributions.
Hi, I am Aishah. Now, I would like to explain on Germany's approach in formulating their foreign policy which pertains to the climate issues. Quoting the saying of former Germany Foreign Minister Heiko Maas, climate change acts as a catalyst. It makes conflict more likely and we don't have any time to waste. Therefore, a holistic and network approach really need to take climate change into consideration in the analysis, planning and implementation of strategies. One of the crucial cases that plays a prominent role in this Germany's climate change foreign policy is energy window. Energy window is the ongoing transition by Germany to a low-carbon, environmentally sound, reliable, and affordable energy supply. It is a transition to a renewable-based energy system whilst phasing out and leave nuclear power and fossil energy behind. It is Germany's effort to reduce carbon dioxide and climate-damaging greenhouse gas emissions without relying on nuclear energy. The approach taken by Germany in expanding the domestic energy policy into a foreign policy on energy transformation, or also known as Energy Winter Außenpolitik, can be seen when Germany was holding the G7 presidency, where both energy and climate change were featured prominently on its agenda. This is because energy transformation diplomacy and climate diplomacy are mutually compatible and support each other. This will likely happen again as Germany is holding the G7 presidency again in this year. Moreover, Moreover, Germany also has their own Renewables Energy Act, in which that law came into force as of 1st January 2021. It seeks to ensure that both electricity supply and electricity consumption become carbon neutral before 2050. To this end, the law specifies the pace at which sustainable energy such as wind and photovoltaics are to expanded over the next few years. Germany also took a quite diverse approach in addressing the policy debate surrounding the transition to a renewable-based energy system, like hosted an international conference on the energy window under the theme of Berlin Energy Transition Dialogue. Besides, Germany Federal Foreign Office also planned on the Energy Window exhibition and world tour that includes the topic of solar, wind and e-mobility. Hence, it is proven that energy has always been a key theme for ministries that involve in climate diplomacy.
Now, you must be wondering why Germany has to take the approaches mentioned by Aishah earlier, right? Assalamualaikum and hi, I, Hanni Syafiqah, am here today to answer that exact question. Energy Window, of course, has their own vision, reasons or goals, and to be precise, they have 4 goals in total, which are: first, for their own energy security by reducing fossil fuel imports, and second, they want to ensure industrial competitiveness and growth through industrial policies targeting technological, industrial, and employment development. Not only that, this approach also aims to combat climate change. Climate protection and the energy window are actually mutually dependent. Both aim to keep the impact of climate change on people, nature and economy at a sustainable level. And if you remember, Nureen Izzaty, our previous presenter, did mention about the German Climate Action Policy 2050. Energy window is one of the approaches that can make this happen. Last but not least, by Energy Window initiative, Germany also has a vision to phase out nuclear power completely. The usage of nuclear energy to generate electricity has sparked heated debate in Germany for decades. Many Germans find it difficult to assess the technological risk. They are concerned about the potential impact of the reactor accident on people, nature as well as the environment. This fear was confirmed by the accident in Ukrainian city of Chernobyl in 1986 that also contaminated parts of Germany. And good news is, the year I was born, which is in 2000, the German government decided to completely phase out the use of nuclear energy to generate electricity and to switch to an energy supply based on renewable resources. You see, this approach and policy is a great initiative for government to combat its climate issues, and that is how, ladies and gentlemen, climate issues influence Germany in formulating their own foreign policy. Now, I bet there must be a new question pop out in your mind. Whether is it really effective though? For that, let's be with Balqis Adriana. She will help you to answer all that question.
The huge reduction in emission in Germany was a success, since the decrease was more than any other Western country. With the unification and dependent on massive factors beyond the West German government control, the government did have a significant role in shaping the process of economic change, and as a result, the ensuing emission reductions. The transition to a market economy as well as the associated economic restructuring in the 5 new Eastern Länder and East Berlin presented not only a significant need for investment, but also significant opportunities for reducing fuel consumption, increasing energy efficiency, and lowering carbon intensity. Other than that, the rise in energy production from renewable resources, mostly biomass and wind, also energy from the sun, waste and hydroelectric facilities, was the second greatest source of greenhouse gas reduction in Germany. Renewable energy expanded significantly as a result of the previously outlined feed-in tariff rules. A variety of initiatives, particularly those relating to methane and nitrous oxide, resulted in significant reduction in emission. It lowered emission in 2010 when combined with a biogas ordinance enacted in 2000. Germany achieved significant reduction in some regions through economic restructuring of the eastern state, promotion of renewable energy, methane control in the waste industry, nitrous oxide agreement in adipic acid manufacturing, and building efficiency regulations. The German population has generally backed the German government policies. A growing awareness of climate change vulnerability tends to drive German residents to walk out on a limb in the aim of encouraging essential global measures.
With that, We hope that we already answered all of the questions regarding climate issues in Germany's foreign policy. We end our presentation with Wabillahi taufiq wa hidayah. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.